Hey guys, welcome back to Wanderlust and Lawyer. In my last video, I talked to you about the hardest descents on the Camino de Santiago, and I promised you I'd give you a video with the hardest uphill climbs. It's a little bit longer, which is kind of funny because I guess if you go up, you have to come down, but my impression was that the descents were often a little bit more gradual than the ascents. So I'm just going to jump right into it. Maybe no surprise here, but my number one hardest ascent on the Camino de Santiago francés is the first day from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port to Horizon. And if you saw my video, you'll already know some of this, but I think what made it so tough was just that the second half of that journey, it was, the whole thing is 8 kilometers or 5 miles, but the entire second half just felt like uphill. It didn't seem like there were any downhill parts or even level parts. And it was, maybe what factors into this for me is that it was about 85 degrees Fahrenheit. And I had just traveled across France the day before with all my luggage. So I was tired, but this was my number one hardest. And again, one of the reasons why I recommend staying at the refugio or refuge horizon if you can. Number 2, so maybe you think it was then to Roncesvalles, but no, it's actually the climb up to O Cebreiro in Galicia. What's awesome about this day is that it's when you actually cross into Galicia, so that's exciting, but specifically it's the part that comes after a cute little town called Las Herrerias. And yeah, it's just tough. Be prepared to take some breaks, even if you're really fit. It'll work on your cardio. So, and I think one of the things that made it so hard is that there were either 2 or 3 extended uphill sections. I think it was 3. So you do get a little bit of a break, but then you have to keep going. So the views though, once you get to O Cebreiro, will make it 100% worth it. So that's one of my favorite days. I think people have said that they ride horseback that day. That'd probably be really pretty, but if you can, I highly suggest walking this day. It is just one of my most memorable by far. The third hardest uphill climb for me was the uphill into Foncebadón, which is the last real town before you get to the Iron Cross. I don't have a whole lot to say about it other than I remember being a little bit jealous of the people who stopped in Rabanal beforehand, because there was already some uphill climbing into Rabanal. So at the very least, I recommend stopping in Rabanal and taking a break, getting something to drink, using the restroom, and then finishing the climb to Foncebadón. I really wanted to wake up in Foncebadón so that I could get to the Iron Cross, hopefully to see the sunrise. It was actually like a cloudy morning, so that didn't work out, but I was still happy that that's where I started my day. So if you're doing it that way, just know it's going to be pretty tough. Number 4 is the uphill to Roncesvalles. This is kind of interesting because it's actually only really, the first part of the day as you leave Horizon, but there are a few sections that really are quite steep going uphill. Then once you hit the Spanish border, I really don't remember there being too much uphill after that. So once you see that, just be happy that you're going to be walking level or going downhill after that. Number 5, the climb to Alto del Perdón, which is where, if you've seen the really cool metal sculptures of pilgrims that are next to some windmills, that's that spot. It's a really, really cool spot. The uphill climb is, I'd say it's not at the top of my list because I remember it being fairly gradual, but it's still tough, so you'll want to be prepared for that. On the other hand, that's leaving Pamplona, so if you take a rest day in Pamplona like I did, maybe your legs will be nice and fresh for that uphill. Number 6, and no one ever talks about this, so leaving a town called Castro, you walk through the town And all of a sudden you just see this huge uphill looming in front of you. It's straight, straight, straight. And then it looks like, I mean, it's a big hill. I was totally unprepared for it. And I was also thinking like, what the heck? I just, this is a day or two after you hit the meseta, and everyone says, oh, the meseta is flat and boring. It's not. I guess it gets flatter after this, but just know that this day there is a long and steep uphill climb. Interestingly, the downhill afterward it's kind of steep, but it's definitely more gradual and doable, and it's a really pretty view. So don't think that once you hit the meseta, it's all flat sailing after that. That was a tough uphill. And now I have two more. So number 7, it's in this position, not because it's number 7 in terms of hardest, but because probably very few of you will do it. It's after the famous wine fountain in Irache on the way to Los Arcos. So basically what most people do is they take a little bit of a longer route and they pass by towns called Asqueta and Villamayor de Monjardin. I did not do that because I did not read my book that day. So when I came to 2 signs, one of which said Los Arcos 19 kilometers and another said 17 kilometers, I said, oh, I'll take the shorter route. Well, that went up through the mountains. So it was really tough, but it was very, very beautiful. And then we descended into a little town called Luquín instead. I recommend taking that route if you have the energy. There were, especially if you're looking for a little bit of solace, I think I walked it with 2 other people, and we saw 1 pilgrim the entire time we were on that route. And I think that was probably a good maybe 5 or 7 kilometers. So it was nice to have a little break. And again, the views were really, really pretty. And then number 8. So this one is kind of a joke, but for those of you who walked into Astorga, do you remember how like the last road into town was like a straight uphill? I mean, it felt like you were walking at a 90-degree angle. At the end of a day, it's not the best feeling in the world, especially after that crazy bridge that you just crossed that made no sense. You could have walked like this, and instead you had to go up like this and then down like this. So I just threw that in there for a laugh, but that is, keep in mind that as you're getting to Astorga, you're going to have one last brutal battle that'll last probably a minute or 2, but it is a steep, steep route to get up there. So you can take comfort afterward and visit the incredible chocolate museum in Astorga. So I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions or if I forgot anything. And also let me know if there are any other specific days on the Camino or specific places or experiences you guys want me to talk about, because I make these videos for you. So thanks again for joining, and see you soon.